Hey, what's up guys, my name is Red, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another Duel Links video. Actually, this is kind of a bit different. This is actually about the TCG, and it kind of relates to Duel Links because if you didn't know, in January of next year, I believe it's like January 19th, January 20th, around that time, we're actually getting a ton of products in the TCG that relate to speed duels, and if you aren't familiar entirely with, Duel Links' actual dueling system, that is all around speed duels, and that whole format is coming to the TCG via two products, I think it is, two starter decks, and those on the just on the offset sound really interesting because this format that we've been kind of building up and playing in for the past 2 years almost has gotten popular enough for Konami to decide, hey, this is the first time pretty much in God knows how many years of the game being out that we're going to support a brand new format that has its own dedicated pool of cards. Obviously there have been things like the Generation Duels which were only at tournaments and had, you could use certain cards and certain summoning mechanics, but that was kind of it. If you use Xyz monsters, you were restricted to an Xyz deck. If you use Pendulum, you're kind of restricted to those eras cards. Whereas with Speed Duels, you're kind of having a mix of everything in one nice bundle. And these new products are coming with some new cards called skill cards. Now, you can see on the right of the screen, we have Mai Valentine skill card. Now, this was revealed today in a brand new article posted by Konami on their official blog, and we're going to go and read through and going to see some of the new stuff. There's a ton of old stuff and kind of recapping the rules of speed duels and what the products are going to kind of entail, and they all sound really good. And we only have one skill card, and I believe there's like 9 skill cards per deck, and there's 2 like deck boxes, so 3 skills per character. And these skills are way better than some of the things we've got in Duel Links right now. Like this skill right here, the My skill card that we're going to look at today, will remind you of a very prominent anime card. And it's very similar to a skill from Yu-Gi-Oh Reigns. So let's get in. Hello everybody, today we're going to be looking at upcoming new products, Speed Duel starter decks, Destiny Masters, and Duelists of Tomorrow. For those of you who may not have tried out Speed Dueling before, here's a summary of the rules. The standard rules of Speed Dueling is not too different from the regular duels, except each player begins the duel with 4,000 life points, has a starting hand of 4, the main deck is limited to 20 to 30 cards, 5 cards maximum in the extra deck, 1 skill card per player. Skill cards effects do not use the chain mechanic, which they don't in Duel Links, and extra monsters must be placed in the main monster zone because there is no extra monster zone, which to me is a great thing because we weren't sure exactly how this was going to work because we know in the OCG and in the Reigns anime that speed duels are used there and they actually use the extra monster zone mechanic, so it's kind of nice that for the TCG at least they're going to be saying, hey, this format is kind of for us and it's our own little exclusive thing, and we're going to try and support this and have it be as basic as possible, as bare bones as people kind of remember from Duel Links and as people remember from playing the TCG a very long time ago. Now, this is going to be a big kind of change for anyone that's kind of been playing the TCG because obviously they're used to 5 zones, now there's only 3 to kind of deal with, and that's kind of a big change. It might not sound like it, but it really is when you actually get down to the nitty gritty of it. But let's move on. I'm going to kind of skip ahead because there isn't actually too much new in the rest of this article. So here, after the specifications of the upcoming Speed Duel Stardust Destiny Masters and Duelists of Tomorrow were released, we have seen lots of questions and speculations throughout the community, and we wanted to take some time to give you some more information about what speed dueling is and how it will fit and how it will enjoy playing the TCG. That sentence to me, I messed that up, that made no sense. And I've just realized that my camera, like my webcam, is actually a little bit too high. So we're just going to move that down a little bit. There we go, it's now in place, it now fits in with the overlay. Speed duels have skill cards that are not included in each starter deck. These will affect your deck building decisions and will be very impactful on the duel, so consider which skill fits your overall strategy and build your decks in a way to get the most from your skill. Also, you'll be able to modify and build decks for speed dueling. The card pool will be different from advanced constructed formats, that's like standard TCG tournament format. However, you will have the freedom to within that pool of cards to build your decks however you like. So we know we're getting these starter decks, but how Konami go on like beyond that and say, hey, these cards are going to be accessible and usable in speed duels is another thing. Like maybe they'll sit there and go, hey, the legendary duelist sets from now on are going to be speed duel compatible. That'd be really cool if they just sat there and just went, hey, all these cards are included, which would mean that things like Blackwings, if they kind of retrospectively went and said the Kaiba pack that just came out was it, that would be kind of ridiculous in the upcoming Akiza pack. If we're getting Black Rose, because I'm pretty sure we're going to, then that would be broken as well, considering we don't have that in Duel Links as an actual card yet. But again, they could this could be the only product release they do for speed duels, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like they're going to be banking big on this. So where were we at? For Speed Dueling, it's very easy to know if a card was legal for format. All you have to do is look for the Speed Duel logo on the card. So we'll talk about that in a minute, because I couldn't see it at first, but it's very obvious once we look at the skill card. If your card has this, it will be legal for playing Speed Duels, and all Speed Duel cards can be played in advanced constructed formats and tournaments. So there's going to be no exclusive cards to Speed Duels. There's going to be nothing like, they're not going to suddenly print an anime card like, we have a Mandala in Duel Links. Not exactly going to start printing that and say, hey, this is only for Speed Duels. If it is for Speed Duels, it'll be able to be played in the TCG as well. So don't expect anything to be too overpowered for a Speed Duel format that will also kind of break the TCG, because Konami aren't going to do that. Today I'll give you a look at the first skill card and explain a bit about how they work. So obviously on the screen we have Mai Valentine. I've got a enhanced version of the card on the right. Sorry, the layout's kind of iffy at the moment. It was just a quick Photoshop, just whatever to get this video out. At the beginning of the duel, you will place your skill card face down near the playing area. So there's no change to the game mat, that's cool. Your opponent should be able to see your character, but not which skill you have chosen to use. So here they'll see Mai. Almost all the card backs for each character will conceal what your skill is at the beginning of the game, so your opponent will have to guess which skill you decide to use, and keep it in mind as they are making their plays. So to me, this sounds like they're going to also be adding in things like Life Point Boost Alpha, because obviously that starts at the beginning of the game, and that drastically changes how the game actually plays. You get 1,000 extra life points, or maybe they'll do things like Life Point Boost Beta, which I think is the one that increases it by 2,500, but you also ditch 2 cards from your hand. So they could be doing that, which is really interesting if they're going to give us some of those skills into the Speed Duels. I think those are the ones that kind of transition over easier, whereas the ones to balance, I don't think will come over at all, because that's kind of impossible, because you'll just be fixing your hand to however you kind of want it to be. And other things, so I guess in field spell skills will probably be very similar ones that just say, hey, treat this card as Mountain or as Umi. That'd be kind of cool if that's how they went about doing that. So once you meet activation requirements, when there are no cards resolving on the chain, you can announce that you are activating your skill and then flip it over and resolve the effect. Skills do not use the chain and cannot be responded to. So with that explained, here is an exclusive look at the brand new skill for Mai Valentine. So right now, it doesn't say whether you can use skills in your opponent's turn. Obviously in Duel Links, you can't. You can use them during your turn. But if you can use them during your opponent's turn, then that'd be kind of insane. That'd be a nice little kind of gimmick for the TCG to have over Duel Links. But I think they'll kind of stick to skills going to be played during your turn, because they are kind of outside of the game. So having them only accessible on your turn will be very fair. So this is the Mai Valentine skill, Tribal Synergy. So one we haven't actually seen in Duel Links so far. And you can see on the actual card image where the text effect is, you can see it says Speed Duel in the background. So I'm guessing that's how they're going to annotate and mark every Speed Duel card going forward. That's going to be in the background. Not too distracting at all, very easy to see. I'm not a fan of the card design. I think it looks too childish and flashy and over the top. It definitely reminds me of one of those fake cards, and I kind of wish they did use some unique art for the actual skill cards, rather than just ripping the Duel Links art. I'm fine with the back one, just being Duel Links art, but each skill should kind of reflect what the skill does. So they could have had some awesome artwork for this one with Amazons and Harpies, because that's what this skill refers to. So my skill, if you have an Amazoness monster and a Harpy monster in your hand, reveal them and draw 1 card. That's unique to Duel Links, to Speed Duel, sorry. If you control an Amazoness monster and a Harpy monster, draw 2 cards. So it's basically a Pot of Greed if you have 2 on your field already, which is really nice. That's a really, really good skill, and encourage you to kind of build a deck based around Mai Valentine. So early on into Speed Duels, they're definitely going down the theme of build a character deck, build a deck based around these skills, and you'll kind of be more successful than people that just choose a skill like Life Points Boost Alpha and maybe build a hyper-competitive deck. I'm guessing that's kind of how they want to position this, at least early on into Speed Duels' lifespan. Each of these skills can be used once per duel. The interesting thing is that this skill has this card has 2 skills on it, which Duel Links doesn't. Duel Links skills are limited to 1 per duel. You only have 1 thing. So that's kind of interesting that they're going down this mechanic. Maybe not all skills cards will have 2 skills on them, maybe some only have 1 because they're a bit more powerful than others. But this could potentially give you up to 3 cards extra in your turn, which is kind of ridiculous. So this guy has 2 once per duel effects, so reward the player for mixing a strategy using both Harpy and Amazoness cards into a single deck. Normally mixing strategies would cause your deck to draw many mismatched hands, but this skill you can turn those hands into more cards to help you overwhelm your opponent. For deck building, there are a couple of directions you could go in to make the most of this skill. We recommend trying to keep a balance of Harpy and Amazon's monsters to improve the odds that you'll use your skill on the very first turn, and begin setting up monsters to improve the odds that you can use and begin setting up to get the second effect. So that is really interesting. They're basically saying this is a turn 1 card, and then it's a turn 3 card. So very early on, you're getting this huge lead over your opponent if you use this skill, if you build a deck based around Mai, and I think a lot of the characters can have a very similar skill to this. Like maybe Kaiba will have a Blue Eyes monster and, you know, a level 4 Beast Warrior or something. I don't know, like Yugi could have Magicians or something. I think it's kind of harder with other characters because they don't really have too many archetype specifics, but Mai does in dual monsters, so really, really cool. And as soon as you use these effects, you absolutely should get ahead as quickly as possible, so kind of standard. We hope to see this as a format for all kinds of players to pick up and try out. For new players, Speed Duel will be a good entry point to learn the basics of the game whilst finding the depth of it through deck building and in-game decision making. For the digital players, it should feel familiar but give them direct contact with the other side of the community to enjoy the game. Lastly, for existing players, the skill cards will affect players' card evaluation and completely shake up the deck building, presenting new challenges and engaging gameplay. So they're going to be talking about this more as the year kind of goes on, because this is coming out very early in 2019. I hope we get to see Joey's skill next, or maybe something from Kaiba, because I think they need to kind of hype up those characters, and again, it all depends on what cards they include in these star decks, because these are going to be the first set of cards for a very long time, and I hope that they're decent enough to see some variation in like a tournament format in a local setting. That'd be kind of cool, and hopefully they kind of do some nice tie-in with Duel Links with these products to kind of entice people of both sides to kind of either of these players to check out Duel Links, or if Duel Links players to check this out. Maybe you can like include some code cards for like a pack or some gems or things like that. So that could be kind of cool if they do end up going down that route. Nothing confirmed at all. This was just about these new skill cards. Let me know your thoughts, comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then.